Right. So I am going to trim this Teabowl using my regular number 2 or square loop trimming tool to take care of the footing, okay, and also for the general outside part trimming. And these are all the whole selection of my number 2 trimming tool, and also including this square looping. They are all designed for trimming the foot. Depending on the material, and they are from entry level, like this one is for the 301 stainless steel tool material, and this one is 420, which is a little bit harder and a little bit stronger, and it can heat treatment, so this one will be harder than the regular stainless. And then this is my other tool that is made of tungsten carbide with the stainless handle with the silicone sleeve. And this one will be my new one, so that the handle I made it into the wooden handle, but the material is also tungsten carbide. This one is wooden handle, tungsten carbide loop tool. These are all aiming for trimming the foot, so I will use that for the demonstration. Okay, and you can see here, this is my other tool that I designed it. It's made from, I call this translucent bed. It's from the very strong material called FRP, fiberglass reinforced plastic. It's very strong. I could step on it without bending it, even making it warp. So it's very strong and it lasts forever. And also it's kind of translucent. You can see that, you can see the shadow. So it's like the translucent porcelain, so you can still see the light go through a little bit. I call this translucent bed. I designed it so this is very handy when you need it for finding your center, or if you want to do some kind of alteration. I put the division lines here, so it's very easy if you need to do a little bit of a decoration mark, and you can use that too. And for this circle here, it's very easy for you to find the center, as long as your piece is not awfully off center. If the rim is very center, and just find it, because I designed the gap is closer, it's 5 millimeter closer, it's not like 1 inch wide, so it's fairly easy for you to find your center. Okay, so that's it. After that, you could use a clay to hold it. Okay, first I will use my regular stainless steel trimming tool. This is 301 to trim. As long as your knife, your blade is sharp, it doesn't matter which of the tool you use. The only difference is that how long you can hold the sharp edge. And for the regular stainless steel, probably if you have a very groggy clay, you probably need to resharpen it maybe after a couple of trimming. So this is a regular stainless steel 301. This one is 420, that you could use the heat treatment to make it slightly harder. This you can hold the edge a little bit longer than the regular stainless steel. And as you can see, that when I'm trimming, I try to avoid that chattering. If you want to avoid the chattering, make sure that your hand is holding closer to the corner, or even hold your blade, so your blade is not bouncing while you are removing the clay. So that is the technique for avoiding the unwanted chattering mark. Okay, so this is 420 with a wooden handle, 420 stainless steel, hardenable. It's already been heat treated, so it holds the edge slightly longer, maybe in a couple days or couple weeks. Okay. And this one is tungsten carbide. It's brazed on the stainless handle with the sleeve. And this one you can hold the sharp edge much longer, maybe couple months, even depending on how groggy your clay is, maybe even a year without needing to resharpen them. And they are, you see that they are all the same, that they have a slightly rectangle shape. Trim, especially when you are using the tungsten carbide, you want to trim your clay slightly harder. Even bone dry clay you can go through much easier than bone dry. And so this is the metal handle, okay, metal handle with a silicone sleeve and on the tungsten carbide head. And this one is the wooden handle, and again it's a tungsten carbide. So this number 2 trimming tool is designed mainly for trimming the foot and also the outer part. Okay, this kind of a curve you can go through easier, and it's in L shape, shaped like an L, L shape. And here is another one. It's a loop tool. A lot of people who when they buy the basic kit, they come with a loop tool, so they are used to holding the loop tool. So the tungsten carbide could be making into the loop tool. If you buy the basic kit, it's also the cheap stainless steel tool, and usually they are dull. They even come in as already dull, so it's very hard to go through your clay easily because it's not very sharp. So usually when people are using those commercial or the basic kit, they have to trim the clay wet. Okay, that's how, because the blade is not sharp at all. But for using this tungsten carbide, they come in fairly sharp, so you don't need to use a lot of force, and you could trim your clay a tiny little bit harder, And again, if you want to avoid the unwanted chattering, hold your fingers closer to the head. Okay, that sounds good. So the very final, you can spin the wheel a little bit faster and just do a very tiny trimming. Faster, but remove a little bit less clay so that your surface will be smooth. Alright, so that's how all the number 2 or the square loop tool. Now I will do a demonstration on what if you want to have the chattering mark. Okay, like I told you that you hold your hand closer to the blade so that you will avoid unwanted chattering. But if you want to manipulate your chattering or get your chattering mark on the surface, do a little bit of a decoration here, what you do opposite. You hold your hand farther away from the head, and then you don't want to braze it, and also you hold the tool, let it bounce, okay, let it bounce, and then you can spin the wheel slightly faster. Okay, so that's how I am going to get the chattering mark. And you see that you can start to hear the sound. And now I move my hand slowly down, but you see that my wheel speed is fairly fast. You can see that I got the chatter mark here. So that's how you get it. Get the decoration mark for on-purpose chattering. But if you want to avoid the chattering, hold it closer. If you want to manipulate your chattering mark, you hold it loosely and speed up the wheel, and you can see that the tool is bouncing. So you got the chattering mark. Usually I would use my number 2 at the very final stage, bring my number 2 to get even sharper corner. The inside here, I like to have a very sharp corner. So I am bring back my number 2 and either any one of the number 2. And then burnish the foot using a shiny rock, or you can use a metal too. You can use the back of the tool, my number 2, the metal one, or you can use a rib or rubber rib to do that. Put the stem on my foot. Now, if you want to trim all the way down to the bottom, the choice is that I have a tool that I could hold it down. So after I remove the holding clay, I can trim all the way here. Or the other choice is you flip it over and recenter it, and you can trim all the way down to the rim. I have the tool that it's very easy to do is this spinning tool. Okay, this is the spinner, or it's a bearing, and this is my holding disc. You can find your center easily. Just follow the circles and find your center and just drop in this bearing. Drop it in the center. It will hold it in place, and you can hold it down. Okay. Usually when you are trimming this part here, it's not sometimes it's not very strong. If you put your, and also I kind of trim a slightly curve here, so it's not perfect flat. So your bearing is not going to go easily in here. That's why I developed this disc to hold it in place. Find the center, drop in the middle, and it's going nowhere. And you can hold it like that and hold it down, the down pressure. Hold it down and then remove the holding clay. Okay, and you can trim all the way. So I'm bringing my 420. This is number 5. So I could go here, slightly trim it on here. And while I'm doing so, I'm holding down the down pressure. So when I'm trimming, I'm not going to push up my bowl. Okay, the very final stage, usually you could spin the wheel slightly faster and move the tool slowly. Okay. So that is the Teabowl with the on-purpose chatter mark here. This is my demonstration, and thanks for watching. See you next time.